and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about some really exciting plans for the historic post office downtown. My guests are with the post office and M2 Pictures, Kelsey Leeper and Patrick Walsh. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you.
So first I'm going to have a full disclosure. What we're about to talk about can't be operational yet. You're going before City Council to get this finalized, but the Planning Commission unanimously endorsed the idea. And that idea is to turn the old post office, or at least some portion of it, into an event venue that the public could rent, that we could all go and see. So instead of just filming there, closed to the public, you would open it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
That is so cool. Tell me how this idea came about.
So, well, for a little history on the post office, I'm sure a lot of the locals here in Hampton are familiar, but you know, it was designed during the Beaux-Arts architectural period in 1914. It was designed after a palace in Versailles, not the palace of Versailles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And for roughly about 70 years, it was the largest fully functional postal hub here in Hampton Roads. And it's, you know, been a home for some, you know, significant historical times, such as, you know, here guys locally went to the basement to get sworn in for the draft. It also served as a bomb shelter for the Cold War for the city of Hampton. And since it was decommissioned in 1986, it's been home to a couple restaurants and a nightclub, which I'm sure the locals have some fond memories of.
Yeah, it never lasted long, though. You know, it has had a little bit of a rocky tenure.
I mean, it's a huge property. So whoever took that over, had their hands full. And M2's role is we bought the property with our private partners in 2013 at auction. We opened the doors sight unseen.
Okay, so, really?
Sight unseen. There was a foot of water in the basement. There was mold everywhere. The electric was bad.
Oh, no.
So we did a lot of renovations. We even had a company from Indiana come out and hand scrub every brick on the front of that property. So it's been a great venue for us for storytelling. We've produced over 200 hours of television for Investigation Discovery, Destination America. We filmed Bigfoot, Sheep Squatch, zombie brides, interrogated criminals in there.
So you just use that, I mean, it's not cavernous, but it is a generous, beautiful space.
Yes, ma'am.
You transform, it's your studio.
It was.
Or one of your studios.
Yeah, so it's 27,000 square feet. It's got a basement, a kitchen, an apartment. It's got the restaurants, booths that are still in there, a dance floor. So we really, we could kind of create any scene we wanted to.
That's kind of cool, isn't it? What a
fabulous.
great thing. But you don't need it as much anymore for shooting.
No, not so much. We've kind of transitioned more into a reality type programming. We have a series in production in Atlanta, Georgia, and another in Alaska that is taking our crews there. So we really wanted to figure out a way to reinvent the space that would kind of open the doors back up to the community. So our management got our heads together and thought, what better use of the space than a venue, an events venue. So we did some market research.
Now, did any of that come about? Because as you know, you have done some special events. I mean, you had a haunted house last year. I was there for the Empty Bowls fundraiser for Hunger. Did it come at all from that, or did it just, were people saying, can we get in, we want to do an event there?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Absolutely. When we had Empty Bowls there, we had, 350 people standing, helped raise over $20,000 for local food shelters. It's been a sold out event for a number of years.
But it was sold out in smaller venues.
That's right. That's right. So absolutely. I mean, those small steps kind of helped us move into that decision. And from vendors here that are kind of the best and the brightest in the wedding and events industry have visited the space, and we've had tremendous feedback. And that's when we knew we were sitting on something special.
That is wonderful. So how do you go from, I have this idea, to we want to start tentatively booking events? That's where Kelsey comes in, right?
Yeah, I was hired about a month ago, and so right now we're pretty much just focused on getting the space ready for clients. So we've been doing a lot of renovations. We're bringing in an interior designer to help us make the space as comfortable as possible. So really what I've been doing is meeting people with the wedding industry and with others, getting ourselves involved with the city of Hampton, and meeting potential clients. So we are just kind of trying to build this really strong, solid foundation for a really awesome space that people can enjoy and love.
It would be so cool because, you know, when you think weddings, sometimes you think locally, but this could actually bring people in. There's like a hotel across the street. I mean, it could make downtown Hampton a really fun destination wedding. I mean, like not exotic destination, but, you know, central place where you bring people together.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
people love that Hampton is getting something. You know, we have a lot over in Williamsburg, we have a lot over in Virginia Beach, spaces that you can rent out, but there's really not many choices in Hampton, and it has so much to offer.
With character.
Yes.
You know, there's ballrooms,
Yeah.
there's hotel, and you know, there's convention center and things like that, but this is going to really be a different sort of place.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not just for weddings. I mean, that's the other thing to say too. You are hoping, assuming all your permitting comes through, to be open in time for, say, the Christmas party season.
Yes. Yeah, we would like to host anything in there, any kind of celebration, get together. We're totally open. We have a space for a conference room as well, so if people wanted to rent out that space. So corporate events, like I said, any kind of celebration, weddings, we're welcome to it all.
If someone is hearing this, Kelsey, and their mind's turning, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
They can reach us on Facebook at the Historic Post Office. We're on Instagram as well, same name, the Historic Post Office. They can find my information there. We actually are working on a website as well, which should be hopefully up and running within the month. So www.thehistoricpostoffice.com. That'll have all our contact information on there as well.
So when you started with this idea and were convinced business-wise it was going to work, you then bumped into this hurdle in that our zoning ordinance said you can only have a banquet space as a secondary usage to a restaurant. You can't have a separate banquet space. So how did you go about, you know, requesting that change?
Well, being that our private partners own a couple different properties in downtown Hampton. They formerly owned the Arnold Building as well as 27 West Queensway. So they have a strong relationship with the city of Hampton. And I can't remember the individual that they worked with, but they've been very supportive of our decision. We knew that we had some hurdles to jump through and that there was a timeline that the city
It's a longish process.
It is. It's 6 to 9 months, and I mean, we were eager when we started in January to get this thing launched in June. So we had to,
Well, the interesting thing that I've learned about our planning process is they don't make a change for one business, because once that change is made, it's a permanent change. And so they stepped back and said, what makes sense here? And how does the downtown business group feel about it? And it was really universally supported. And it kind of follows this idea that council recently designated downtown and Phoebus as an arts district, and sort of nurturing those kinds of businesses and the things that come along with it. So the question wasn't, does this M2 thing make sense? It is, what is the big picture for downtown and Phoebus, and how can we develop the businesses that we want there and nurture the businesses that are there?
Yeah, well, they had to go out to each one of the bids and get approval from them. And I personally, working in downtown Hampton for a number of years, really proud of the city for making that, hopefully making that decision for us, because in the long run, it's going to be beneficial to everybody. Like you mentioned, we're going to be inviting, people are going to be traveling to the city of Hampton, staying in our hotels, shopping at our stores, eating at our restaurants, and it's going to be an economic driver for the city, and I think everyone will benefit.
Definitely.
So, and it extends, Queensway, you've got the restaurants down on that end, and then it sort of dies out. And so it extends that. You've got the Armory, venue coming on the other side. You're kind of leading down toward the bridge and the route to Phoebus. So it begins to connect these separate pieces. And you guys are going to be in the hub.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We're excited.
Well, thank you. Is there anything you want to add before we close that I've forgotten to ask you about?
Well, make sure you consider us when you're thinking about getting married, because we believe it's gonna fill up quick. So if you want to beat your friends to the punch, start with the post office.
Yep, and if anybody wants to come see it, just like I said, contact me. I'm happy to take people through tours, even though it is currently under renovation. It's really cool to see
And that's
what
what
they're
I hope,
doing in there.
we've been able to show people a little bit of what's going on, but as you said, you're only 1 month into construction. You've got a lot more to go, so we'll have to come back when it's all
Absolutely.
finished.
Definitely. for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you both. And thank you for watching. I hope you will get a chance to see this new venue at some point as a guest or whether you rent it out. And we will all begin to enjoy that beautiful building in downtown again. Thanks for watching.